The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
This is Haymaker Combat Sports. Here, coming straight from the source. Only with the real, they ain't here to dress it up. Sweet science, MMA, you can get it all from us. Trust, 5 stars cause it's live. And through the fight game, we can guide ya. Slick talking, putting them in caution. Passing all the goals cause the audio is awesome. What you waiting for? Spread the word, tell a friend. This the podcast where all of the discussion ends. When they start going strike for strike, this the show that'll tell you what you seen in the fight. They ain't playing on the mic, this a welcome to the show. Warm it up for the squad, Haymaker of the bros. I'm a bow wow, you can hear it from the pros. It's Haymaker Combat Sports, time to roll.
Welcome to Haymaker Combat Sports, powered by the Belly Up Sports Media Network. I'm your host, EJ Reed, joined by my fellows, Aaron Admire, Steve Johnson. What's good, fellas?
Happy Tuesday. It's cold as shit. It's snow on the ground, but we have betting in Missouri now. Sports betting is legal as of yesterday.
What's going on, Steve?
Nothing much. Feels like a minute since our last one. Was it about a week or two?
Yeah, it's kind of flew by, actually. I feel like we were recording not too long ago, actually, but you know, this whole year has just flown by. And like Admire said, happy Tuesday, but this will be out on a Wednesday. And like Admire mentioned, sports betting is live December 1st. Have you tapped into it already? Yeah, Admire, I know you're a hockey fan.
I haven't bet on anything. I've been just watching it. Looking at all the crazy, I guess it's what do they call them? Like all the weird bets you can string together,
prop bets and
the prop bets, like the crazy things. Like I don't know shit about football, but like there was one last night for the Monday Night Football game. It was who played last night? Patriots and who was it? Patriots Giants, and the bet was each team to score a rushing touchdown in the first half and each team to score a passing touchdown in the first half. Sounds pretty simple. If you bet $10 on it, you won $1,200. So I was messaging Devin. I was like, what is this about? Like you only bet $10 and you win $1,200. All each team has to do is score a running and a passing touchdown. And he's like, no, man, but see. And he explained to me how bad the Patriots are with, passing or whatever, the Giants or somebody sucks. So I didn't do it. And, then I checked the score and it wouldn't have happened. So, yeah, I've just been watching all these prop bets. Like, it seems like you could make some money if they hit, but they're really not likely to hit. That's why they pay out so well.
Yeah, like that. It's easier said than done, especially when a team is more focused on one area than the other. You got some run-heavy teams and some pass heavy teams and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, how to get you. And I can't remember exactly what it was in maybe a different state, or it was like a national news story. It was one of these betting apps where they capped off the amount you could put on like a prop bet, because people were doing like ridiculous ones on like how fast could somebody sing the national anthem and what time it ends and stuff like that. I think they put a cap on it. I can't remember exactly what the cap was, but it makes sense. But yeah, you're gonna have some degenerates losing a lot of money this holidays. And speaking of holidays, we just had Thanksgiving that just passed by. How was y'all's Thanksgiving?
It was good. Just hung out with the family, little ham, little turkey, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and everybody went home, and that's about it.
How about yours, Steve?
Same here. Sure, every time these holidays come, it's more like I have to plan out pit stops. So I have to go to my in-laws, and I have to go to my mom's and my family's, and yeah, so it's that's a whole day event right there.
I know you with the vegetarian route, Steve, but are you a fried turkey guy, or you said ham?
We cooked the ham, and then my dad smoked a turkey, so we had smoked turkey. Usually we do a deep fried, but not this year.
Deep fried turkey is a game changer. So juicy, suckly. It makes the oven one look like trash. But yeah, smoke is a good way to go too. I feel like smoke is underrated. I
Yeah,
remember
for
the
sure.
last time I had one, but that's what's up. As far as your top side or dish for Thanksgiving, what's your go-to, Amar?
Man, I'm just a sucker for the green bean casserole. Everybody seems to get tired of it, but I can, eat that every year. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I wasn't too up on green bean casserole until I had an ex that introduced it like in my mid-20s. So it's a nice dish. How about yours, Steve?
Yeah, basically, what is it? Eggplant parmesan was one of the dishes. Macaroni and cheese, potatoes, of course. Let's see what else. Stuffing, of course. One of my favorites is cranberry sauce, and that's basically it. Okay, of course the cake. I think we had 7-Up lemon cake, and also what else? That's probably about it.
Yeah, my go-to is the mac and cheese. You can't go wrong with that unless you mess it up. And that's how you can go wrong with it. But I'm glad everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I was traveling all over the place. I went back home, South Carolina Tuesday, took off on Friday morning because I was out there in San Diego doing a little coverage for Boot to the Face. Went to WWE Survivor Series out there for a more in-depth recap of that. Go check out this weekend episode of Boot to the Face. We talk about that. But my first time in San Diego, did a little bit of exploring. My hotel was downtown, like in Little Italy. Like I said, it was my first time going to San Diego. It was a cool city. I'm not sure if any of y'all been to San Diego.
Nah, I've never been.
Yeah, it's right there on the water. I don't know. It had a different vibe than other places in California because I used to live in the Bay Area and I've been to Los Angeles area a handful of times. So, nice little vibe. Highly recommend people go there if they want to go on like a mini vacation or getaway. But we have a lot on the slate as far as news stories go, fellas. So let's get into that. I don't know if this came across your feed or whatnot, fellas, but did y'all see Tom Aspinall go on Ariel Helwani's show?
I didn't see it, but I heard about it. It seems like Tom Aspinall's like stayed in the news ever since that fight with Gone and getting poked in the eye and everything. And right before the show started, I even seen something about Aspinall kind of replying to Dana White.
Yeah, and that's the story I'm getting into. This is off of SI.com by way of the Ariel Helwani show. According to Aspinall, the UFC has been radio silent during the fallout for the fight. He said Dana White hadn't spoken to him, and he was already giving updates on his health, even though he didn't speak to him. And he said it was disappointing. And he said Dana White didn't help the cause. And he says he doesn't really have a relationship with Dana, and he doesn't know what to say. Kind of sounds dejected. And Dana White was saying that he should be back. He was saying that Aspinall should be back soon. This is the way Aspinall was referring to, and that he doesn't have a detached retina, and basically kind of throwing him under the bus. So just want to go around the room. What are y'all thoughts on this kind of a fallout between Dana and his heavyweight champion, Admire? I'll let you kick it off.
I mean, it's kind of wild that he's saying that. And I think Tom had the exact reply that I said when this happened. When you're fighting the best in the world, you don't want to give them any advantage at all. So if Tom's vision was impaired even in the slightest, I wouldn't have wanted to continue the fight, because he was getting, pieced up by Surreal Gone. So, if that eye poke had any impact, don't continue the fight. Dana White is just mad that the fight didn't continue and it wasn't some big spectacle for him. But Dana got paid either way. So, I mean, he's just a shit talker. Dana, get your ass in there and fight. Fuck you.
B?
Yeah. I think he legitimately got poked in the eye. But possibly maybe and certain people give him credit for getting poked in the eye. But I think maybe the culture within UFC, or as far as the fighters, I mean, we seen countless of fighters push through DC. I mean, it's if you're not in there, you don't know how hard your eye got poked. So that's only Tom Aspinall. But I mean, we seen dirty ones. I mean, we seen how people reacted. What's another one? Anthony Johnson. That's one of the worst, and he was out of there. DC, and he got poked in the eye. And you're right. You don't want to give somebody the slightest advantage when it's that close. But maybe he's being judged with his peers who fought on with, I think that's the culture within the fighters. If you're a fighter, you fight through what you have. And to me, my opinion, I don't think the eye poke was that bad, especially doing all this. I mean, of course, he could, all he can do is do PR, but if you're that hurt, I don't think he would be like joking or PRing about it. My personal opinion, and especially whether Dana's right or wrong, because most of the time he's wrong. I guess he got mad at Tom Aspinall for, I guess, not agreeing with him or even arguing with him, which I don't know if we talk about it, but maybe future interim belts will occur because he's not in good terms with Dana.
And I want you to hold your thought on that. But what do you think are the long-term implications with this? Because this isn't the first time Dana White has done this. Like when things kind of don't go his way, he kind of throws these fighters under the bus. And this is his heavyweight champion. I don't even think this is the first heavyweight champion. Well, we know he did it to Francis, but I want to say happened with maybe a Tim Sylvia. It happened another heavyweight back in the day, but he's done this to countless other fighters. So what do you think happens as far as long-term implications when it pertains to this?
I don't think anything really is going to happen because I think Dana White needs him. I mean, if you think about it, that heavyweight division is kind of not really exciting at the moment. You don't really have anybody up there. I mean, you do have people up there, but Tom and, the top guys has beat everybody else. He really needs Tom. So even if you sideline Tom and you let Surreal gone and, Alex have the super fight, or you give Surreal the interim belt, if you decide to go that route, eventually you're going to have to give Tom another title shot, or Tom might end up back at the top of the pile again. So you don't want to shit on him too bad because he's going to end up back up there towards the top, or he might just end up leaving. And then you end up kind of where we're at with the Francis thing. Then it's like, shit, you lost your top talent again. Like, you can't keep losing your top talent or pissing them off just because you're in your feelings.
Yeah, but as far as hardcore MMA fans, of course, Tom's up there as far as name value. But looking at the grand scheme of things, if they lose Tom Aspinall, would that be like a big blow to them?
I mean, he's the man right now at heavyweight.
Yeah, but I feel like we've lost bigger stars like Francis. I feel like Francis was starting to break through on like a general sports fan level, maybe not like mainstream pop culture, but like a sports fan. He was making highlights and even went to boxing. I feel like that was a bigger loss, and they were still able to, steer the ship as far as UFC goes. So you think Tom Aspinall is a bigger loss than like a Francis Ngannou?
No, I don't think he's as big of a loss, but I mean, it is now because the Francis thing is in the past. Now, I mean, currently, Tom Aspinall, outside of John Jones, is the biggest heavyweight name in the UFC. That Tom Aspinall would be the biggest loss.
As far as the whole entire organization, you think he's the biggest loss in the whole organization?
No, in the heavyweight division, outside
of
John Jones.
Yeah, that's like saying with a bunch of dwarfs losing Peter Dinklage. We lost the tallest guy.
Yeah, but still, though, I mean,
dwarfs. Heavyweight division is kind of like the worst division in the UFC. So
okay, so say that Dana continues to shit on Tom Aspinall and Tom Aspinall walks, then you put Jerry up there and Jerry wins the heavyweight belt. Then it's tarnished because, Tom Aspinall isn't there to fight it. Then we have this talk. Well, what would have happened? Tom Aspinall should have been up there to defend it, or, pick any of these other guys that Tom's already beat. So then you have all that what if, just like we did with Francis. So you just I think Dana needs to be careful about what, he does with it.
So you said Jerry like Prohaska? Admire?
I mean, if he went up,
if he went up.
I mean, I was just throwing out a name as an example, but I mean, you could, just you the real heavyweight. I mean, I was throwing out a name.
I feel like Dana White doesn't give a fuck. I'm not co-signing it, saying it's right, but with this new Paramount deal, they got guaranteed money coming in. You can't tell them nothing unless like you're a Conor at this point, because like he broke into pop culture. But Steve, you kind of touched on it earlier. There's some potential fights that they may be making now heavyweight because it might be an interim title. Can you go on and say in more detail as far as that goes?
It might possibly be. It might be a rumor out there that probably make Tom Aspinall mad, but I hear possibly Pierre and Cyril Gahn will be for the interim title, and they'll put Aspinall in the back pocket. And I can say maybe it's a temporary loss, but I can say at the end it can still be good because you have Aspinall in your back pocket to pick up with whoever two of those wins, and boom, it'll be Aspinall again, and keep the UK market because I think that's big over there because Aspinall is still champion, and still keep the market sort of going on a little bit longer based off of circumstances.
Emma, how you feel about Alex Pereira, Cyril Gahn interim fight?
I don't like it just because I think Cyril Gahn would just take him down. And if he takes him down, he's going to hold him down. And it's not really going to be a good fight. I think at least if you put Alex against Tom, Tom's going to stand with him and make it interesting. I think Cyril would stand with him. I mean, the fight's going to start standing. But I think if he catches a couple hot ones, he's going to, take it to the ground.
So
I don't think I'm interested in it as much. I mean, and then, if Cyril does that, takes Alex down or beats him or whatever, even if, say Cyril stands with him and beats him, Alex loses that aura, at light heavyweight, and then what happens,
So you think Cyril Gahn is going to transform into a wrestler? That'd be weird.
I mean, with his size, if he got a hold of Alex, I mean, he could end up wrestling. He could just grab him and fall on him and get him down. I mean, he doesn't have to be a wrestler to use his weight as an advantage.
I mean, it could happen, but I think they would give people a stand-up show. But how do you feel about that actual fight, Steve? Now that you mentioned it, if it does happen,
I can see it happening based off of when Tom comes back, he'll be runner-up if there was an interim title. But it would be interesting. It'll be a window open for if Pierre was going to be a heavyweight champion. It would be right now, either fighting Cyril Gahn or Aspinall.
So you like the fight?
I would entertain it.
Well, we shall see. We're almost into this new year, but I would admire Dana White needs to make things right with Aspinall. But who knows? There's no telling with Dana White and trying to get inside that guy's head. But let's keep it moving with these news stories. I don't know if this came across y'all's feed. Gina Carano, the original face of Women MMA, she's returned to training, and this is the head of UFC White House rumors. She's training with, I want to say, Syndicate This is from MMA Mania, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's in Las Vegas. I just had it up a second ago, but I'm pretty sure she's training with Syndicate MMA out in Las Vegas. This is ahead of rumors that it may be a matchup with her and Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey was spotted training back in September. So in the year of our Lord, 2025 will be 26 if she does hop in the cage. Are y'all interested in seeing Gina Carano get back in there? I'll let you kick it off.
She hasn't had a fight since 2009. The world has changed since then.
If you were born that year, you're getting close to adulthood. It's crazy.
For real, like you can drive a car legally since she quit. Her last fight was 2009, Chris Cyborg. She's training with Merab's coach, so I mean she's got a good coach. She was a good fighter back in the day. I mean, if she, really tried, it would be cool. Ronda was a good fighter for her time. She kind of got exposed there towards the end of her career, but it's not like she was horrible. It definitely would sell huge. The return of Gina Carano, the return of Ronda Rousey. I mean, that's a super fight, really. I mean, definitely want to watch something like that. So I hope that's something they could put together. I'd definitely watch that.
Steve?
And this is an MMA fight?
The rumors are it'll be on the White House card.
Oh, man. I guess it'll bring nostalgic, back. It's kind of hard to say she'll be. And then Carano, it's a throw in the air with me, and I'm pretty sure that would get eyes on the White House. Ronda come back, and lately, at least in my algorithm, people have been sort of not on Ronda's side, so I can see people either even tuning in to even see her lose. But definitely to tune in.
Like Admai said, it'll be a spectacle. White House, two of the pioneers of women's MMA. But as far as seeing like a high level MMA matchup, that's not what we're going to get. It's literally a circus fight. The sport kind of passed Carano by when she lost. That was 16 years ago. I remember Cyborg starching her, and think about how much the game has evolved since then. This evolved like twice since Ronda Rousey left, and that was like what 2016 was when Amanda Nunes completely pummeled her, standing TKO. It was bad. She got saved by the ref. If going off on a tangent or on a side note, but that's neither here nor there. I'll watch it just out of more curiosity, but as far as go ahead, Steve.
I think she's been on the news probably the past week or two for having comments about Joe Rogan. So I know that'll be awkward. Him it's saying that he wasn't not a true martial artist. And
didn't Riley say that? I remember. Didn't Riley say that? I saw that. I mean, we all know Joe Rogan. He's like a talking head. I know he trains and does jiu-jitsu and kickboxing classes, but that's different from actually going in there. But I don't know where the animosity is between the two of them. But like you said, that would be awkward if she does come back and they have to do the pre-fight interviews back behind the scenes. But yeah, I mean, if it's like a showcase fight, it's for the White House, I'm cool with it. But what I don't want to see is that whoever wins gets the itch and like, oh, I could do this again. That's fool's gold. Because if you're facing each other, y'all are basically older. I know Rousey's a little bit younger, but around that same age, a lot of rust. So, like I said, I don't want any of them to get the itch. Whoever wins and tries to come back, because I don't want to see you get murdered in there. Because if you face any, competent level of any fighter in the UFC, I think both of them will get starched. I don't know if you want to piggyback off of that, Admire.
Yeah, because Carano, she's 43. And I was kind of looking at her competition that she did have, because I mean, she only had like 8 professional fights. So I was looking at these girls that she did fight. Almost all of them retired in like the early 2010s. But there is one girl that she fought, Caitlin Young, that fought into the 2020s. And she actually, her last fight was in 2022 against Kayla Harrison. She lost via TKO to Kayla Harrison. And she ended her career with a record of 12-13. So she wasn't the best fighter. And I went through all these other girls' records, and most of them didn't have very good records. So she didn't face the best competition, and most of these names you wouldn't even recognize. I mean, Chris Cyborg is the only name you probably would recognize. I mean, Kelly Cabold, Caitlin Young, like I just said, Tanya Evinger, Julie Kinsey, Elena Maxwell, Rosie Sexton. You guys have probably never heard of any of those girls.
Exactly. I don't want to get it conflicted because, you know, Rousey and Carano came in a time where people, you know, kind of looked at their looks, but Rousey was actually high level, bronze medalist in judo, so she had the credentials. I don't know, like now that you list that off, I don't know what kind of credentials Carano had. I think she definitely capitalized on that. She was a pretty face, and I think she was on that. Was she on that Elite XC? Was it the CBS card? She was like on one of those.
Yeah. She started her career in World Extreme Fighting, and then she was in Strike Force, and then Elite XC.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Like I said, it is what it is. Of course, they want to draw eyes now that we're rolling into this pay-per-view-less Paramount era and whatnot. So keep an eye on that and see how this training goes for both women. But let's keep it moving. Gable Steveson, for those who are listening not familiar, blue chipper, freestyle wrestler, Olympic gold medalist. He went to the University of Minnesota. He had a little cup of coffee in WWE. There are also some nasty allegations behind him that we won't get into. Google that if you want to get the story behind that. But like I said, he had a short stint in WWE, and then he transitioned over to MMA, won his first fight, I think, by TKO, and he had a fight, I think it was last weekend, and Anthony Pettis FC 24-second knockout. And let's take a quick look at this real quick, see how this unfolded. For those listening, it was really quickly. I'm going to run it back. Run it back real quick. Because it was real quick, because by the time the video started, he was on the ground and the guy was already knocked out. So run it back real quick and get y'all's thoughts on it. Little bit of technical difficulties. Here we go. He got him to the ground and then it was over. That seemed faster than 24 seconds. Maybe they cut it off a little bit, but what are your thoughts on that quick finish, Admire?
Yeah, I seen this one. It was all over my TikTok, and I think they showed it on TV or something I was watching. But yeah, he caught him, and then he was already jumping on him like the second he hit the ground. So I don't know if, it just kind of showed that his wrestling prowess, like he was already in takedown mode, already there jumping on him. So it's going to be interesting, man. He's a big guy. He's fast. He's got the wrestling credentials. 25 years old, 6'1", 265. He could be a problem if he stays dedicated. I mean, obviously he's got the power behind his hands. It's going to be interesting to see. You said he fought in Anthony Pettis's little show. I would expect maybe he'll end up on Dana White's, one of them shows that he does, or maybe even like Ultimate Fighter type thing. But somebody's going to be snatching him up because he's already got, a bigger name than the average person. So I would expect somebody to try to snatch him up and get him on a roster.
Steve, what are your thoughts on that quick finish?
Yeah, that was definitely a good KO. The overhand right into the takedown, quick ground and pound, a good highlight, especially if he's trying to get into a more popular promotion. I think it'll do good. This is the first time really my eyes have seen a fight or noticed him, so I'll definitely keep an eye out for him.
So, I'll start with you, Am. What do you think the over or under we see him in UFC in some type of capacity before the end of 2026?
I don't think it'll be this year. I think it's he's good, but I think it's still too early to tell. I mean, he's only got 2 fights under his belt. Like he doesn't even have really any exhibition fights. He's just, 2 fights total. I think he has like one maybe amateur boxing fight to go along with it, but he really has no experience. So he's going to have to maybe get a couple more, kind of do like them boxers do, hit a lot of local, scenes and just pad the record, get, a lot more eyes on him, but like I said, he's got a name, so maybe he's already on people's radars, but somebody should make a move first.
I mean, you don't really need any exhibition matches when you are learning on the fly, learning on the job. You got 2 pro fights already.
Yeah, and you said he's got connections to WWE.
Yeah, his brother was there with it for a while. His brother got some TV time. He only made a couple appearances, and then, like I said, some allegations popped up, and people were getting on him online, and quietly got released. I want to say, I don't think he left on his own accord. I think he got released. So.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. 2 fights, but he's got a big name. He's got a lot of connections. He was signed to Buffalo Bills, it looks like.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I don't know. We'll have to see.
I mean, what do you think, Steve? Think we see him in the UFC in some capacity before the end of 2026?
Well, probably so. I would definitely say you have to get a few more impressive wins. He can be on the projection, same as
Bo Nickel.
What's his name?
Bo Nickel.
Greg Hardy.
Oh, Greg Hardy. I thought you were going more so Bo Nickel. I can't even remember how many fights Greg Hardy had before he went in. I mean, I was going more so of the Bo Nickel trajectory. Admire Bo Nickel had 1 fight, 1 pro fight before he went to the Contender Series. I could see Gable Steveson in the Contender Series before 2026.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I agree.
Bo Nickel did have a couple amateur fights, which Steveson didn't have, but he only had 1 pro fight, and then it was the Contender Series. So I could see Steveson having maybe fight first quarter. If he keeps getting these fast finishes, you have to, have a break for recovery or injury.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's staying pretty busy. So just looking at it here, so he had an MMA fight in September. He had a boxing match in October. He had another MMA fight in November. So 3 months in a row, he's had fights. So he's staying busy. And, I mean, he's getting them out of there quick. His boxing match only lasted 15 seconds, it looks like.
Yeah, and I think you're dealing with a different animal when you're talking about traditional MMA, mixed martial artists, and then or like even somebody off the street like CM Punk. We know CM Punk had no business being in the cage, but you give like a special leeway to like a Brock Lesnar who maybe not have MMA experience, but high level credentials in a different combat sports, like a wrestling, when that's like the biggest tool you could have as far as MMA goes, I think you could give them a little bit of a pass. Brock Lesnar, Bo Nickel, and
Joel Romero.
Yeah, Steveson won a gold medal, so fast track them a slight bit. You don't want to go too crazy with it, but maybe he'll have another quick fight first quarter, another quick fight second or maybe third quarter, and then maybe in fall of next year you get him on the Contender Series and see what he could do. So, like we said, heavyweight needs a spark. So I'm curious to see if he gets in there. That'd be something to look into and look forward to if he does get into it. But moving along to a lighter side of things, your boy Hasbulla, Admire, you see him in the gym getting in some work?
No, what's he up to?
Him and the Rizzler. You familiar with the Rizzler?
Yeah, I know who the Rizzler is.
You know about the Rizzler, Steve?
No, I don't.
With the Costco guys, he's like, I don't even know what is he to the Costco guys. The Costco guys blew up in 2024, and they travel on with the Rizzler, like this 9-year-old pudgy kid. Like, is he related to them? Like, I don't understand the relationship.
I have no idea. I just know the Rizzler's just some 9-year-old fucking shit talker kid. Like,
yeah, and he has this little thing that he does that points to his face, strokes his chin or whatever. But yeah, nobody, I guess, had that on their bingo card that the Rizzler and Hasbulla would get in there. And I don't even know. Like, Hasbulla, like, I don't know how I feel about it because, at the end of the day, he's a 23-year-old man, and they got him like his UFC has him as like some like mascot basically, and everybody sits him on their lap, and it's weird to me. I don't know. I really have your thoughts on Hasbulla, Admire. I don't think we ever talked about him really on the show.
It's weird, dude. Like, he seems happy and he goes along with it, so I guess it's all right. But a lot of people do treat him like how he looks, like a kid. And like Mike Tyson thought it was a kid, like, like for the longest time, that's like Mike Tyson treated him like a kid because he thought he was a kid. But like, I don't know if it'll ever get to a point where it like really fucks with him. Because if you remember, like Vern Troyer, the actor that played Mini-Me, like he ended up being like an alcoholic and having depression and shit over his size because like people ended up like treating him like his character. Like people just, thought it was okay and played into it too much. So hopefully it eventually doesn't get to that, but right now he seems all right with it.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Hasbulla, Steve?
Yeah, he kind of slipped in the culture of UFC. I know, of course, if you have to make a medal behind your back, I would guess you get the okay. And ever since then, he's been around celebrities, been the topic. And like you said, I remember, like Admar said, the Mike Tyson clip, and he thought he was a kid the whole time, holding him up and down and fighting with him. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, it kind of happened out of nowhere. And yeah, it's kind of weird that they don't treat him like his age. But maybe a lot of that comes from they just don't know.
I mean, if you look at his face, you can tell he's not a kid, but like I guess on first glance, maybe somebody not know. Well, what was it, Admire? Andy Milonakis, didn't he have that disease that caused him to look young?
Something with Andy. He looked really young for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Like Admire said, if you end up being like almost like treated like a cartoon, look what happened to Vern Troyer, man. Was this Mini-Me? Was his name on the
yeah, on Austin Powers, he was Mini-Me.
Yeah, I don't know if that led to his early death because I think he probably had some health complications being that small. But yeah, he did turn into alcoholic, and he's dead, right? Isn't he? I don't want to kill him off. Isn't he dead?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he ended up dying.
I'm mixing. I was almost mixing him and Joe C. You remember Joe C. and
Joe C. He had some medical shit. Vernon Troyer, yeah, he died in 2018, age 49. Yeah, because it was he died of, it says, suspected suicide by alcohol intoxication. Because I used to watch that show on VH1 about the former celebrities that weren't really famous anymore, and he was on there. He was always drunk as fuck, riding his little scooter around.
Yeah, so he did kill himself. I thought it was more health stuff, but yeah, that's sad. So hopefully Hasbulla doesn't fall into that hole. But let's take a look at him and the Rizzler sparring.
The Rizzler was hit.
For a split second, all my oil went away. But then it came right back. I almost went well, he clocked me, so I had to clock him right back in the stomach.
And what did he say after you clocked him right back in the stomach?
I don't know.
The Rizzler had survived what many men don't, a bout with Bula.
For those listening, Hasbulla told him to stay humble. What are your thoughts on this nonsense?
I think they're just playing around, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's funny, man. It's a circus, whatever. But do you remember when Hasbulla first started coming around the UFC? Do you remember that they were really going to have a fight with him and some other little dude? He was like a singer or something, Abdu Rozik.
I vaguely remember this. I can't remember exactly the details though.
Yeah, and they even had a face off, and I don't know if they had an actual weigh-in, but they had a face off and shit where they got into it, and they had to keep them separated and stuff. I mean,
do you remember that, Steve?
Yeah, I do. It was like a damn near a Maury TV show, right? They had to break them up, and they kept on trying to fight each other. I think they even had a face off, I believe. Yeah, I do remember.
Like you said, the circus. I don't remember that. I must have skimmed over it and just ignored it because of the ridiculousness of it. But yeah, whatever gets clicks, I guess, nowadays. But before we end these news stories, we couldn't go without mentioning Admire's guy, Conor McGregor.
Oh, what do you do now?
So the first thing is Michael Chandler claims Conor McGregor matchup is sign, seal, and deliver. Why is Chandler so delusional? But let me go into more details. So Chandler scored a shutout win against Chad Mendez in this Real American Freestyle, which is, I guess, kind of gaining traction. I sent this to Admire in the Discord. I think who's got booked for Bo Nickel.
Bo Nickel and Yoel Romero, isn't it?
Yes, and so I guess this Real American Wrestling is getting. I didn't think it was going to be a thing because I remember Hulk Hogan being associated with it, but now he's dead. I don't know if Eric Bischoff is still associated with it. I thought it was a joke, but I'm guessing they're getting some, real hitters in there. And I didn't even know Chandler was in it, but I'm reading the story off the top for the first time. So he's been calling out Conor McGregor, of course, the past 2 years. And like I said, he says the fight between him and McGregor, sign, seal, deliver. I want to say he was saying that it's supposed to happen at the White House. So you think it's just a pipe dream for Chandler? This has been supposed to happen for the past 5 years. What, 4 years?
I guarantee you it was something along the lines of Chandler called Dana and said, "Hey, I want to fight Conor at the UFC White House card." And Dana probably said, "Okay, yeah, if we have a fight at the White House, you can fight him." Everybody keeps saying there's going to be a UFC White House card. Trump said it. Dana White said it. All the fighters keep saying it. But I don't think it's still a real thing. you can't just say that we're going to have fights at the White House and it just happens. Like, we've talked about it on here. There's so much logistically that has to happen for the fights to happen there. Like so much security, so much like has to go into this. Like, is that what Trump's building the ballroom for? Are they going to have the fights in the ballroom? They're going to have the fights outside? Well, they got to have something to secure the perimeter. You can't have a crowd there. If you do, you got to have like extra crazy security. You're going to allow them to like a crowd in on the White House property. Like, there's just so much that has to happen other than, yeah, we're going to have fights at the White House. So it was probably just a, yeah. Okay, Chandler, whatever. Like, just to get him to shut up about it. Otherwise, he would just keep going on and on about it. But we're so far off from having it. I'm telling you right now, the UFC White House card is not happening in 2026.
So, like you said, it's so many security measures and precautions have to go through. I think it would be more like an Apex fight. I don't think it's going to be any big crowds. It's going to be a select field. You'll see the 1%ers in there, like a Zuckerberg or
for sure. Yeah. I mean,
Jeff Bezos and
yeah, it'll be him, Trump, and his close buddies, and like you said, the 1%ers, the billionaires, and shit like that. But you still have to have extra security outside, because I mean, if you think about it, there's people outside of the White House protesting every single day. Now you're going to have people trying to be as much of a disturbance as they possibly can. If there's a big national event happening on the White House lawn, people are going to be trying to disturb that, protesting somehow. So you're going to have a lot of extra security. There's going to have to be things in place for weather, just everything. So it's just, it'll happen. If it happens, it'll be 2027 at least.
So the White House card may not happen until 2027, but to clarify Chandler's quote, he said, so the fight's already been called out, and he said it's been signed, sealed, delivered since June of 2024. And he said Conor's going to make good on his promise, on his words, on the ink. He said on the ink on the contract in June 2026. So, like I said earlier, you think this is wishful thinking? If you had to guess, even if it's not the White House, do you think this fight will happen in 2026, Steve?
I wouldn't bank on it, no. But if Conor would fight anybody that made sense, both been on a losing streak, it'd be a justified fight, yeah, but I wouldn't bank on it, especially with Conor. I mean, how long he's been waiting since that first initiated call out. He beat somebody and called Conor out. And what year was that?
Maybe probably 2020. He hasn't had that many wins since being in the UFC. Who did he knock out? Was it Ben Askren he knocked out? Or?
Tony Ferguson?
Yeah, he knocked out Tony Ferguson.
Was it Tony?
I don't know. Like we said, we watch so many fights, we get them all jumbled up, but he knocked somebody out and been on like a pretty much crazy losing streak. He
front kicked Tony Ferguson.
Oh yeah, his face turned into mush.
And he beat Dan Hooker his first fight in.
Yeah, this is only two. This is only 2 wins in the company that he's been in since 2020. Damn, I could have swore he was in there like late 2010s, but he didn't get there till pandemic. I didn't realize. I thought he fought before the pandemic. That's crazy. And yeah, 2 wins against 5 losses. I think he's just one of those guys that you throw in there and he's gonna swing and probably get knocked out. I feel like his stock is falling a lot since then. But I mean, Conor coming back from an injury, I guess like Steve said, that'd be a good opponent for him. I don't know if I got your answer. You said you don't think he's gonna fight in 2026 either, Admire?
Conor ain't gonna fight, man. Like, I don't think you will ever see him fight again unless it's some kind of circus shit. I don't think you'll see him in the UFC doing a legit fight.
He's part owner of Bare Knuckle. Maybe he dips his toes into that and or maybe he goes back to boxing. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If he does something, it'll be a circus fight, like his days in the UFC or.
I don't know. I feel like that Diaz fight is always on the table to make money. So,
but by the time it happens, it'll be a circus fight. Like
probably. I think Diaz just turned 40 this year, which is crazy. I always think of him like a young, spry dude. I don't know, man. But sticking on the Conor McGregor tip and a bizarre story, and that's crazy when you're talking about Conor having a bizarre story, as many crazy stories that he's had. I don't know if y'all heard about this. McGregor decided to undergo a controversial psychedelic treatment in the Ambios Life Science Clinic using the drug Ibogaine, in his words, to address his trauma. And Ibogaine is a banned substance in Ireland, and it's become popular with celebrities, athletes, army veterans. And McGregor describes this experience as like life-changing, and he's come to terms with Jesus, and he says he's healed. He was under the influence for 36 hours and claimed to see Jesus descend from the marble steps and anoint him with a crown. Well, what do y'all think about this?
Yeah, I read about it and heard about it. I was like, oh, great. He got to see Jesus. He's going to be talking some crazy shit, and he's going to think he's something just really special now. Yeah, it's just another one of the things that celebrities do. It's the next big thing for them. It used to be ayahuasca. They used to go to the jungle and get poisoned by a frog, by a shaman, and puke and shit their brains out, and hallucinate, and then they come back claiming they seen this and that, and they're fixed and whatever. It's just the next big thing. Whatever. Maybe they could have told him to not fight, or maybe to fight, maybe to stay off whatever it is that he's on, get his shit together.
Yeah, no, Aaron Rodgers did the ayahuasca, and they didn't do shit for his playing. He still hasn't played good in a while, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on this, Steve?
Yeah, man. I guess he took the hallucinogenic route. I guess I guess he has to save face, for this. He's been through a lot of things in the past. Either be genuine, or if it's not, you definitely need a rehaul as far as like PR. And I guess this is a way to start doing that. And whatever sort of speed belief system, hopefully it's for the good, because Conor's been nothing good in the news for the past literally years.
Yeah, I mean, besides maybe him having a stake in BKFC, everything's been not positive, especially the legal drama that he's been going through. Like I said earlier, it couldn't be a show without talking about Conor, but actually kind of tired of hearing non-fighting stuff. I just want to see what happens when he gets back in the cage, and who knows when that'll happen. But I don't know. He says it's life-changing. I think he goes back to being same O'Connor in the next couple weeks. We'll see some drama going on with him. Matter of fact, I want to say him and Habib got into it online recently. What happened with that, Admire?
Yeah, they've been talking shit online. Something about Khabib was selling something. I can't remember what it was. He was selling something, and it was supposed to come from one country. Well, Conor called him out and said it's actually coming from this country, and then started saying, oh, well, your dad would be ashamed, and blah, 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 and just started talking about terrorist shit and just being Conor. I mean, still trying to be that guy talking shit to the guy that beat his ass.
I guess it's just on site forever with these guys. I think it goes past the cage, but we'll never see them fight again, most likely. So at this point, it's just talk. But Conor being Conor. But yeah, we've only almost been an hour into the show, so let's get into the fight card that's happening this weekend. Kind of snuck up on this. Last pay-per-view of the year, last pay-per-view in the ESPN era, UFC 323, going back to Las Vegas for this one. I feel like they were just in Las Vegas. Man, was it October or September? I want to feel like they were just there. I mean, I know it's the fight capital of the world, but it seems like a quick turnaround, be back there. But let's get into the early preliminary card going down on ESPN Plus and Disney Plus FX. Featherweight division, we have Muhammad Naimov versus Marion Santos. Middleweight division, we have Mansour Abdul Malik versus Antonio Piccoli. Light heavyweight division, we have Ivo Berenievsky versus Ibo Aslan. Lightweight division, we have Edson Barboza versus Jalen Turner, and they cap off the early prelims. Former title contender in the middleweight division, Marvin Vettori versus Bruno Ferreira. Will you be tuned into this, Admire?
I might try to tune into it. I mean, there's some good names right there on the early prelims. Vettori, Barboza, Jalen Turner. I mean, I don't know what they did to piss off the UFC brass, but, you know, those are some big names to be having early. Maybe they want to send off the last card, you know, with a bang.
Steve?
Definitely the top two of the prelim, the Vittori and Fiera, and I'll probably catch that because I definitely want to see what Jalen Turner looks like on his return.
How far is Vettori fall from grace, Admire? He's on the early prelims. That's crazy. Kind of crazy to me.
Let me see here.
He was right on the heels of about to contend until like one loss, and then he kept going down from then.
He's still ranked number 14.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting that they have him on the early prelim. I mean, it's their last fight on the ESPN platform. I think there is one more fight night after this, but it's not like they need a dire need to pop a rating or anything. So that's interesting that they have him on the early prelim. And who was his last fight against? Is he on like a crazy losing streak?
Brendan Allen.
Yeah, 3-loss. He's on the 3-loss losing streak. And yeah, Brendan Allen. I mean, he hasn't been getting knocked out, which is kind of like a silver lining. But to go from contending for a title, you know, Israel Adesanya, he didn't knock him out, but it was pretty one-sided. He beat Admire's guy, Paulo Costa. Lost to Whitaker, beat Roman Dolidze. So, yeah, I just think it's interesting that they have him on the early prelims now. I'll definitely try to catch that on a replay if I don't get to see it live. But, yeah, one more card after this. So they got an Apex card on December 13th. You know, go figure they were in the ESPN era with a Apex card, Roval and Cape. Cap headline that one, but let's get into the preliminary card on ESPN2, and we're gonna go ahead and make picks for this because we'll use the prelims as a tiebreaker if some reason we end the main card tied. So this is break glass in case of emergency. We might not even need to use these, but let's go ahead and pick these. Lightweight division. We have Nazim Sadikov versus Perez Ziam. Who you got in this one, Admire?
Ooh, man, I don't know either one of these guys. I'm just looking at the records. I'm going to go with Perez Ziam on this one.
So you got Perez Ziam. Who you got, Steve?
I'll go with Nazim.
Okay, so Admire, you said you have Ziam.
Yep.
And then Steve, you got Sadikov.
Yeah.
go with this one. Man, what what's who did Zion face last, Admire?
I'm looking here.
He's got a Wikipedia. I just don't have it
Yeah,
up.
he fought Mike Davis February 1st of this year, decision win. Before that, he fought Matt Frevola, won via KO. He's on a Ziam is on a 5-fight win streak. His last loss was 2022 via submission to Terrence McKinney. He's been around the UFC since 2019.
Wow, he's been in for a good minute, and
his biggest win, I would say, is over Jamie Malarkey.
And what kind of streak has Sadikov been on, if at all?
Nadim. Well, his first fight was the loss. Everything else was a win. He did have a draw 2 fights ago. Been in the UFC since 2023. Earned his way in via Dana White's Contender Series. He beat the Terrence McKinney via submission, but I don't think he has any names that you would really recognize. Terrence McKinney is the only person with a Wikipedia that he's beat.
Okay, I think I'm gonna admire this one. I'm gonna go with the moving right along in the women's flyweight division. This may have title implications on it. Number 5 flyweight Macy Barber versus number 9 flyweight Karine Silva. I think I'm gonna take the safe pick on this and go with Barber. Admire.
I'm trying to remember. I think Silva just fought, and I think I picked against her last. She just fought a few months ago, I think, against Barboza, I think. But it is Macy Barber. Macy Barber, didn't she just? No. Why isn't Macy Barber fought? She hasn't fought for a long ass time.
She's supposed to fight Aaron Blanchfield, and she got sick 20 minutes before the fight or something like that. Something crazy.
Yeah. Macy's 5'5". I'm going to keep it interesting. I'm going to go with Silva.
Steve?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Silva myself.
Any particular reason you think she's going to out-grab her or out-strike her? Or
off the top of my head, I think she may be the bigger and stronger girl.
Okay, so
and Silva is with the fight nerds. So the fight nerds been on fire this year. I mean, they should be team of the year.
Weren't they going? Then they go on a weird streak where all of them were getting beat, and then I think Prada's got them back on track. If I'm not mistaken.
Well,
we shall see. There's a good camp, and they probably are in contention for camp of the year. Moving right along, lightweight division, Terrence McKinney versus Chris Duncan. Who you got, Amar?
Man, this Terrence McKinney keeps coming up. Chris Duncan. When did Chris Duncan? Let's see. Chris Duncan. He doesn't even have a Wikipedia, does he? Oh, he does. Okay.
Yeah, he should. I'm gonna say Chris Duncan has a Wikipedia.
I was gonna say he just fought a couple months ago too on one of the smaller cards. I don't know, man. I think it's a sign though. Terrence McKinney's name kept coming up tonight.
We talked about him. My memory's terrible. I didn't realize.
I kept saying his name because Terrence McKinney has fought two of the other guys on this card. That Fares Diam and somebody else that I mentioned earlier. He also fought. Nazim. Both those guys. Yeah. Give me Terrence McKinney on this one.
Steve?
I'm gonna have to go with Terrence McKinney myself.
You think he knocked him out, or how do you think this plays out?
I would say most likely, definitely, if McKinney would do anything, it'd be by knockout.
So you have McKinney as well. McKinney's on a 2-fight winning streak. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. Maybe I'm thinking of Turner that was losing recently, and he just McKinney just faced Vyacheslav Borchev. I'm gonna stay on the McKinney tip, even though McKinney is the slight underdog. I'll go with McKinney to win this one, maybe in emphatic fashion, and leaning on him getting some type of knockout or TKO. Next up, cap this one off on the prelims. We have Grant Dawson versus Manuel Torres. Dawson is ranked number 13 in the lightweight division. I think I'm gonna pick Grant Dawson on this one. 3-fight winning streak from right now. Beat Joe Selecki, Rafa Garcia knocking him out, Carlos Ferreira. So I'm gonna go with Dawson this one. Who you got, Amar?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Grant Dawson on this one as well.
Steve?
Same here.
All right, so it's only one fight. If it does go down to this tiebreaker, that will determine the tiebreaker. If it comes down to me and Amar, Steve still has a chance of coming back too. Steve's only down 2 fights, and me and Amar are tied going into this card. So shall be interesting if we need to go to this. But moving on to the main card, kick this one off of the light heavyweight division. We have Jan Blachowicz, former UFC light heavyweight champion, versus Bogdan Guskov. Who you got in this one, Amar?
Well, the odds makers have this minus 142. So Jan is the favorite. Bogdan is a plus 112 underdog. So it's very close on the odds. So not much of a difference there. Let's see. Man. I think Jan is just going to be too much, even though
2-fight losing streak.
And a draw. I mean, so I think he's in a position where he has to win. He's been the champ. He's got all the experience in the world. He's got the skills. Bogdan's on a good streak, but he's really, he's got some decent wins, but he's lost when against some higher level stuff. So yeah, I gotta go with Jan.
Steve?
I'm gonna go with Blachowicz.
Okay. Why do you think Blachowicz got this one?
just because it's a veteranship champion, really haven't seen him diminished in front of the camera. Haven't been knocked out, still sturdy, putting up tough fights. I mean, I believe his last fight with Oldberg was a decision, and that was a tough fight. So he still stays up in relevant as far as his fights with these young up and comers. So I think he can get a win off this who he's fighting.
I'm gonna go with the odds makers on this, but I did not feel confident. For some reason, I could definitely see Bogman getting him out of there, but I'm gonna go with Blockwitz on this one for no particular analytical reason. Just going with Vegas things on this one. Move right along. Bantamweight division. Your former champion Henry Triple C Cejudo versus Peyton Talbot. I think I'm go with the young blood in this one. I'm gonna go with Talbot. I want to say Talbot came off a loss. I know he had a lot of hype. I know he was on Steve's radar, and then he took that loss, but he bounced back against Lima. Doesn't have the level of competition as a Henry, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like the same Henry Cejudo since he's come out of retirement. So I'm gonna go with Talbot on this one. Who you got out of line?
Yeah, this one's kind of a weird fight to me. So I'll start off with the odds. They have Peyton Talbot as the favorite at -265. They got Cejudo as the underdog at +200. But they're giving Peyton Talbot a lot of respect here as a big favorite when he's coming off a win over Felipe Lima, unranked. You know, Peyton Talbot is unranked, and then he's just had a loss 2 fights ago against Barcelos. So, I mean, I don't know if it's that they're giving Peyton Talbot a lot of respect here, or if they're really disrespecting Henry Cejudo because of his, recent losses and just not looking the same. But to me, I think Barcelos really kind of exposed Peyton Talbot, and I don't know if he's done enough to really work on some of them holes that were exposed. And this is Henry Cejudo's retirement fight again. I don't know if he'll stick to it, but I got to expect that Henry Cejudo's extra prepared for this. He doesn't want to go out on this kind of losing streak and another loss. Peyton Talbot isn't even ranked, so I think maybe the UFC's thinking if Peyton Talbot wins this, he beats a legend, he gets propelled up there into the, I think top 10. I think Cejudo's pretty ranked up there. Yeah, right at 10. So, I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff just going on with this fight, but I'll go opposite of you. I'm going to take Henry Cejudo in this because I think he's not going to go out on a loss.
I mean, everybody doesn't plan on going on a loss, but this ain't scripted, so you might not get his wish. But what Uncle Dana says, if you're thinking about retiring, you should go ahead and retire. So I don't know if I like that he announced this before this fight and had retirement on his mind, but who knows? Like you said, that might motivate him. Who you got in this one, Steve?
I'm gonna have to go with Henry Cejudo. I think he's well prepared and has good rest in between his last fight. Pretty sure he's worked out injuries pretty good to even enter into a fight. I think he's fresh and ready, and I think he might pull off a win.
I don't know. I mean, if he tries to stand up with him, I don't think it's going to go well. He needs to turn back the hands of time and stick to what brought him to the show. He's a gold medalist, but it seems like he kind of strayed away from the wrestling. So I think that's basically his only path to victory is if he puts the pressure on him and tries to wrestle. But who knows what will happen. Like I said, he hasn't looked the same since coming back, but never know. He might be motivated. But both of you have Cejudo. I have Talbot. Moving right along, flyweight division, your former champion Brandon Moreno versus Tatsuro Taira. Who you got in this one, Amir?
Well, we'll start with the odds on this one.
Moreno's the slight underdog. It's basically a pick 'em.
Yeah, we got Moreno at +104, Tara at -132. Yeah. We know Moreno's tough. Last win was against Ursig. But I'm going to have to go. I'm going to have to go with Tatsuro.
Any particular reason?
I just think he's got it, man. I think that he's going to be too much. I think that he's got the wins strung together. I think Moreno's kind of on the downside of his career.
Okay, I mean, Moreno has a lot of wear and tear and tread on the tires, or doesn't have a lot of tread on the tires. But
Tatsuro's 25. I mean, I think he's only got like one loss, and it was a split decision.
I mean, like I said, even though Moreno has a lot of fights, he's not that old. He's gonna turn 32 in a couple days. I don't know. You going with the young upstart? Who you got in this one, Steve?
I'm gonna go with Moreno. I feel like I still got faith in him, and he took on had a little, if I'm not mistaken, a break from his last fight.
He fought back in March, so yeah, that is a break and coming off a win.
So I think he'll be prepared and ready.
Yeah, I mean, his only losses are to high level competition. You know, he had the trilogy, or not even a trilogy. I mean, what do you call 4-fight quadrilogy? with Figueiredo, he only lost one of those fights. 2 of them had a draw, and then the champ Pantoja, everybody loses to him, and Roy Val is close. So I think I'm with Steve in this one. I'm going with Moreno. I think he fends off the young upstart. Tatsuro, I mean, his level of competition is starting to pick up. Perez is no slouch, and Roy Val, high level, and he lost to him. Park Hung Sung, I don't know. I'm not sure if he's ranked, but this is definitely another step up in competition. So I think this is not a make or break fight, but this is like almost like a crossroads fight for kind of both guys in different ways. Like this will launch Tyra up into the next level, and this will show if Moreno still has it. So it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to watching this. Me and Steve, we got Moreno, and Admire has Tyra in this one. Let's move on to the co-main event, fellas. In the flyweight division, we have your champion, Alexandre Pantoja, versus young Josh Van, who had a lot of eyes on him and kind of came onto the scene this year with his performances. But I'm a big fan of Van, but I just think it might be slightly too soon. I think he'll probably definitely get a title run in the future. I just think Pantoja is in his prime right now, and he's gonna show off all his tools, the arsenal of weapons that he has, and I'm picking Pantoja to retain in this one. Who you got to admire?
Yeah, I mean, exactly what you said. I mean, Josh Van, like, I like watching him fight. Like, he's awesome. Like, I want him to win, but I don't think he's going to win. Pantoja's just got too many tools. He's in his prime. He's got just the experience. I think he's got like 2 or 3 times the amount of fights that Josh Van does. He's going to be one step ahead on everything, unfortunately. I love watching Van fight. Doesn't have a boring fight, so sucks for him. But Pantoja's just too good, so I got to go with Pantoja.
Yeah, that fight that him and Roy Val had, that was a bomber, and I think that's in contention for fight of the year. Who you got in this one, Steve?
I'm gonna have to go with Pantoja. Just like y'all said, I like Van, and these are one of these opportunities where Dana sees, the division where it is, and you put up a good fight, especially with a person that is a contender before, if not right then and there, for the championship, and to see him pull through that. I mean, this is a rare chances we see this in MMA, and Vander earned him an opportunity to literally shoot to stardom if he gets this win. But Pantoja, with his his veteran, been in the game, high level people, beat the person that he beat. This is a moment of truth as far as these two fighters, but I think Pantoja is gonna win it.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen. We haven't seen really too many upsets in the past few years. Thinking back on the boy Sean Strickland, that's the one that comes into mind as far as like upsetting title fights. Besides that, like not too many shockers. With Leon Edwards, I think he wasn't favored too well in that fight, and when he kicked Usman in the head, so not too many upsets. But like I said, I'm a fan of Van's fighting style. So if he upset Pantoja, I wouldn't be mad at it. But I just think it's a little bit too soon. But how old is Van? He's like 24 or so. He's pretty young, isn't he, Admire?
24.
Yeah. So even if he loses fight, it's good that he's getting experience in title fights, and I think we'll probably see him with gold around his waist next 3 years or so. I really like his upside, but we'll see. That's why they actually fight in the cage. So on paper, Pantoja is the favorite, but we'll see what happens. Moving along, fellas, the main event for the night in the bantamweight division, we have your champion, Merab the Machine Dvalishvili versus Petrian, your former champion. Was Yana just straight up champion or interim? I have to look at that, but this is a rematch. Who you got in this one, Admire?
Oh, Rob.
No, that's simple.
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna say? I mean, the dude's just unreal.
Yeah, so Jan had the interim title. I don't know, so I don't think it was a straight up bantamweight championship. And then he lost to Sterling in that controversial. Oh yeah, he did have the straight up bantamweight title. He beat Aldo for it when it was vacant, and then that illegal knee, the controversy behind that in Sterling, and then he won an interim title. So he's had both an interim and a straight up, because when he beat Sanhagen, and then Sterling just straight up beat him after that. So you got Merab. Any particular way you think Merab wins this, Admire?
I don't know, man. Hasn't all of his recent ones been decisions?
Merab?
Yeah.
I want to say, didn't he get a finish his last one? Or the one before last, he choked them out. I want to say he tapped somebody out recently.
Did he? Let me see.
If I'm not mistaken.
No, he did. Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, your boy. How you forget about him doing that to your boy?
Before that, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decisions. So
his last knockout was in 2021, so it's been a while. It was against Moraes.
Yeah, I don't think Jan's the type to get caught like that, though. Nah, it'll be decision.
And who you have, Steve?
Merab. Even though I like Peter Yan, I think Merab's just too skilled.
Yeah, you think he puts the pressure on him?
I think so, and I can say it's possibly he'll get caught, because Peter Yan can be pretty sneaky sometimes. But I think if Merab stays focused on the plan, I think it'll just take down domination.
Okay, but I have Merab in this as well. I mean, we talked about on this before, between him and Topuria, and even with the new champions, Islam and Hamzat, it just looks like the lower weight divisions just have dominant champions that are going to be like all time and no end in sight. I think they're just going to have to get old, but you never know. But that's what it's looking like. What happened with Jan though, Admire? Because I remember at one point people thought him as unbeatable in that division when he beat Aldo. And then like things kind of went left when he did that illegal knee.
Yeah, he ended up beating Sandhagen after that, and then just downhill after that. I don't know. Just one of those guys that couldn't keep up with what he'd been doing. Because, I mean, he was on hell of a streak before that.
Yeah, like I said, people were saying like he was at one point looking like the unbeatable guy. Did have a early loss to Magomedov, but I don't know. Like, what do you think took Jan off track, Steve?
You said what would get Jan on?
What took him off track? Because, like I said, he looked unbeatable for a time period, and then that illegal knee, like I said, threw him off, and then got that win against Sandhagen, and then 3-fight losing streak.
Yeah, I would say that one loss threw him off. I remember Jan as looking unbeatable and very slick, and it seemed like he can't catch a break because I think his past fights have been, if I remember, decisions.
Yeah,
back-to-back decisions. That's been. I think that's what's been throwing him off track, not getting finishes.
Well, he's is a notable 3-fight win streak. Maybe outside of McGee, Davison Figueroa, former flyweight champion in the lower weight division, but Song Yung Dong, a lot of hype behind him. Those are 2 quality wins. So maybe those fights got him back on track, but it's still Merab, man. Like Merab's a different animal with his gas tank, and I don't know. We'll save this more for the recap fight, the recap show, excuse me. But I don't know if Merab gets past that. I don't know. I don't know what they could throw at him next. Like I've said, and this is a recent clip I put on social media, I ain't trying to hit no damn super fights though. So UFC's gonna have to shake up things as far as the ranking system, because I don't know who's in the top 5, Admire. Real quick,
which one?
In bantamweight.
Bantamweight, you got champion is Merab. Number 1 is Umar. Number 2, Sean O'Malley. Number 3, Jan. Number 4, Sandhagen. Number 5, Song Yadong.
Yeah, so I just got a feeling we're gonna be seeing a lot of rematches with Merab in the near future. So I think they just got to start bringing up some of these lower ranking guys, and hopefully they'll win and you can get some fresh opponents from Merab. But I don't want to jump the gun. Like I said, we'll talk about it in further detail on a recap show. But yeah, man, we've been here for an hour and a half. So let's go ahead and wrap this thing up, fellas. The fights will be going down, like I said, in Vegas. So we'll be tuned in. I might not get a chance to watch live, but if not, I'll watch the next morning. But last card of the year, last in the pay-per-view era, and we'll be in the Paramount era before you know it. But make sure to subscribe to the YouTube and follow us on the social media platforms, the TikTok, IG, and all of that fun stuff. Been posting more lately. So we'll be back next week to recap the card and see who wins the fight picks of the year. But that'll do it for us here at Haymaker Combat Sports. Until next time, be safe out there. Later.
Hit the takedown, ground and pound. That was from the top. Heel hooking, no more plot to leave you in the knot. Pop